Welcome back. We are still in Autumn Town. We had stopped here to take a bite before we proceed to the Cherangani Hills. So Autumn Town is one of the oldest towns in Kenya. I think they also have one of the oldest churches, mission hospitals in Kenya, built in the 1950s. So this town is also located alongside the Kitale Rodwa Highway, the A1 highway. Is it? I think it's an untrunk highway, so it's supposed to connect to between countries, Kenya with South Sudan, or Kenya with Ethiopia. I'm not sure about the details, but it's one of those towns that doesn't have much in terms of population, but it's personally it's one of the richest towns in Kenya. They have a wide production of the onions, and not just onions, through the Murunyi River, the one that we crossed, we're going to cross next to in this episode. The river on my left, on my right, yeah, on your right. So the Murunyi River, we have gold mining happening around that river. It's one of the most admired rivers in Kenya. People get to take a shower there, and people get to mine. So up here we were connecting with the A1 road, but not for long, since our main goal was to go on my left up those hills in the place called Lelan in West Pokot. It's one of the coolest places. I think it's the coolest place in West Pokot. I know as you get to see the road, you're going to see it being a bit misty. So up here we're confirming the directions.
Kidhani niyo. Sioni njia ngine ni.
So after confirming if we are still on the right track, I took the read. So I didn't know at first how vast the road could be, or this trail could be, until we got to some point where I realized my tire pressure was off. My tires were not the right ones to use on this track, and most importantly, our carburetors were beginning to misbehave. So as we were going up, everything was okay. We were feeling it, and so we were to go up to those hills you're currently seeing, and the road was like this. Actually, this is one of the best parts of the trail. Once we got past this small outskirts of Autumn Town, the trail started giving us the actual reality. So we were expecting loose gravel, tight spaces, and uneven roads, especially because of erosion. So in West Pokot, when it gets to rain, the roads, the swell get carried away. So we will find big trenches like this one. So this is supposed to be some kind of a river. But what gave us courage during this ride, although it was our first time taking this track, was the rocker bikers. So these guys with the 150cc bikes, the normal bikes, the one that we use for border business, they were actually carrying more than passengers, you can see.
Nje yenye inaenda hadi huko juu.
Hadi kwa shule huko juu.
Ni. Oh, sawa, thanks.
Kwa shule gani ya mlima ya moja ya Kereblo?
Mlima kabisa ndio.
Ni kama Kaboro. Hii ni shortcut yake.
Na hii bado inaenda tu.
Hii inaenda kanisa.
Oh, sawa, asante.
Na mzingie kwa shule hapo. Unanyorosha tu main.
Sawa, sawa. Asante.
Hata nimetoka huko.
So it was more important to make sure that we were on the right track, because our app was end had stopped. My friend didn't confirm if it was recording the track, so we were stopping quite often to ask the locals for directions, especially to confirm if we're still on track, because the road is unmarked. And another challenge was now the fuel. As you can see, my friend was running out of fuel, and from here up to the center, to the trading center in Lelan, there was no petrol station. So whatever happens in between, it was for us to decide how we are going to filter oil from one bike to the other until we get to a small filling station in Lelan town. So as you can see, the way the road is narrow, and the loose gravel is where we started forming problems, and at least by our own courage and help, as you'll see later from the locals, were able to get up to the Lelan Hills, and such roads were reminding me of how one small mistake, especially hard braking, and now the fact that I did not check my tire pressure. My tire pressure was still high, so my bike was losing a bit of traction. But luckily, we didn't get to fall until to some point on this track. The situation ahead reminded us of how delicate it was for us to confirm directions, because as you can see straight on, you can't go through those rocks, especially if you want to make sure that your bike is still in crisp condition when you get home.
Sasa hebu ni confirm kwanza kama tuko on track. At this point, we were almost 3,000 kilometers above sea level. Not only was our bikes feeling it through the carburetor, we were also feeling it in terms of breathing. So the place was hot, but our gear was hot, especially our helmet, but then the air was thin. So we were finding it hard to breathe going up these hills. And but the beauty aspect of it was the views that we are getting. As you can look straight on, that's one of the best views you'd ever get when doing motocrossing. So yeah, at least we were happy about the view. And as you can see me trying to hold the grip with my legs, because my tire pressure was off, and there's something you get to learn post recording, that yeah, my tire pressure was a bit off, and the best thing I should have done was try to lower it from the recommended to the recommended tire pressure, especially when you are going through loose gravel. So it was me fighting not to drop my bike or maybe to fall, because up here we were like almost 20 kilometers from our town, and no one wanted to go the other way, because going up with a bike is it's easier than going down. So most people who have taken rides through trails, they do get to understand that going up is the easier part, but going down is the hardest part, especially when you have to do the combination of braking and control. So up here, we just chose this side of the track from the junction, because we wanted to get to the top of the hills. Our main goal was to go see some telecommunication mass centers, but we didn't get to do that because of time. As you can remember from previous videos, our ride started about midday, and coming up here was not a plan. So we were just two young men with fear in our bikes, and we just decided to take this trail. But then getting here, it was a bit we couldn't regret, because we were enjoying. So yeah, get a bike. When we got here, I couldn't help but do a victory lap by raising my hands, and I had to ask for my friend to take a picture. As seen, because that's one of the most beautiful views I've seen in a while. And the fact that made it more beautiful was we were actually on top of the hills. These are the Cherangani Hills. They stretch from Elgeyo Marakwet up to Trans Nzoia counties. I think Mount Elgon is part of the Cherangani Hills. So yeah, my hands were already blistering up because of holding the throttle. As I said, our carburetors were misbehaving, so we were losing a bit of power from our bikes, and you couldn't go below gear second gear, because gear 1 doesn't have enough power to take you faster. Gear 2 also doesn't, it's in between, doesn't have enough power but also gives you a bit of stability. But then going up to gear 3, we were getting scared that maybe you could stall your bike. The bike isn't good with gear control, so yeah, so holding the throttle was something that we couldn't go amiss, because yeah, you don't want to go falling back or stalling your bike, especially on loose gravel, because most definitely you're going to drop it, and it's something you're going to see later on, where we miscalculated the loose sand in some stretch. So yeah, get to enjoy. And as you're watching the video, I'd also ask that you could do us maybe a favor and click that subscribe button. We're trying to make this YouTube thing work, and if biking is something that you enjoy to watch on your timeline, give us some love. You can share with your friends, you can comment something. Maybe you have some track at home that you would want us to come and try. We would appreciate that. Going up these hills, something that was baffling me is how the community up here lives, because well, they have normal businesses, but then if you have got to go to the nearest shopping center, you have to go to Autumn Town. And Autumn Town is almost 30 kilometers up to here to get to, and you can't go to Lelan because Lelan is way further, almost 50 kilometers from where we were. So I didn't get time to sit down with the locals to ask them how they get to do their day to day, but yeah, that's something that was going through my head, is how do these people live, especially the school going kids, because you could see a school on the other side of the ridge, and you're wondering how does that kid get to go to school in the morning and go back home in the evening. So there's something that you get to experience and then get to try to understand how do these communities get to live their lives, especially in such remote areas. So when we got this point, my friend just indicated that we stop because the view was absolutely out of this world, and we had to stop for a few minutes to make some calls because some people are looking for us, and to just leave the view, see how beautiful it is. As you can see, the hills are definitely out of this world. And I also stopped to just take a look at my bike because of the loose gravel. At this point, we were marking our next trail to take in future, and I was checking to see if my bash plate was keeping up with the loose gravel, and all was fine. So we decided to just continue with our with our ride. And as you can see, with the indication of this maze, this place is a bit fertile. It's more fertile. It's one of those West Pokot areas where if somebody gave you land, you'd just say yes to it. Because we also found somewhere the water was coming out from the docks. And yeah, so we were just riding, stopping for views, continue riding. As you can see how beautiful this place really looks like. Stretch was a really trial to our biking skills. As you can see, the road is not as present as you would want to, especially taking it for the first time. We also found a bigger town, a bigger shopping center here, and as you can see, the buildings are made of clay with plastering with concrete, but the road was not that present, especially me in front with my scrambler bike. I was feeling the pain on my back. I couldn't stand because the handlebars are a bit lower, so when I stand I was stretching my arms a lot and it was starting to hurt. And then when I was seated, my monoshock was throwing me off. When I bought the bike, it was a bit hard, but now after riding it for almost 9,000 kilometers, the shock is a bit loose. So going through some of these trenches on the road, I was starting to feel it on my back. And for some of the footages that we didn't get to record and bring in production, you could see how I was starting to cry out loud because it was tiring. But we had to push. We didn't want to go back. So our only main goal, it was around 3 o'clock at this point, 3 o'clock at this point, and we just wanted to get up the hills
And originally we were to see the telecommunication mass centers, but because of time, we felt to be safer to just go straight home through Lelan up to Chaparedia. So this road was a bit. Now we got to a place where the soil was loose, and the way I was crying about my tire pressure. Now this is now the point where I was feeling it. I was feeling like my bike was losing total control of the traction, and also my carburetor was also crying. I was losing power. As you can see, I had to wait for my friend to try out the road first before I could even think about going to it. So up here, I don't know what was going through my head, but I chose a totally different side to take on this track because I didn't want to go through this loose gravel, and I found myself in some predicament, but which luckily I was able to get out of. But yeah, so my friend went on ahead. We didn't have any intercom system, so if somebody was left behind, the only way we could ensure their safety is after a few meters we were stopping and checking if they're coming. If not, we'd turn around our bikes or leave our bikes and then walk down to see if they're doing okay. And this is something that happened to us during now this hill climbing, where we were either one of us was ahead of the other, and it's because like I said, the carburetors, and we were losing power, our bikes would stall, and it was literally a hill, and you can't start a bike alone on a hill. So we were just waiting for the other person to come and push us so that we can get our bike started. This rules and really tested our skills. It might seem easy on camera, but the swell was deep. So yeah, my friend went first. He couldn't complete. It was up to me with my scrambler bike. So maybe a big mistake I made was not putting much into my throttle to try and get that speed that would have ensured that I get to the top. And yeah, it's something that you get to learn when you ride these bikes. So yeah, my effort stopped there, and as you can see, we waited for some locals who were going down. They were literally carrying almost 200 liters of milk on their 150, 125cc bikes. Since they were more experienced on this road, waited for them, and they pushed us over, as you can see during this whole conversation.
Songea huyo jamaa. Songea huyo jamaa. Hey. Ni nini mnabeba?
Maziwa.
Unapanda nayo? Acha hapa.
Okay, nenda. Inapiga start.
Kanyanga.
Akojo.
Inaenda tu chini. Hey.
Ndio tunashinda.
Hujazoea njia.
Kama haijazoea.
Umezoea njia.
Ha?
Umezoea njia.
Honda inapanda hapa tao.
Unajua carburetor yetu imeadjustiwa ya huko chini. Sasa vile tumepanda mlima inapoteza nguvu. Tunaenda hadi huko kwa hiyo nini?
Transform.
Iko na nguvu, hii ni kubwa.
Clutch uenda. Hivyo ndo clutch uenda.
Hapa iko na nguvu kuliko hao jamaa.
Unajua hiyo nyingine ni kubwa.
Nimefika hapa. Nikaenda ukanyanga.
Lakini ningekuja vizuri, ni vile nilikuja nikaingia nini?
Hapa si kwenda pole pole.
Nitaka mbio.
Nani kiingia hapa?
Inapanda.
Hapa wanateremka hapa.
Ni wenyeji huko. Hiyo ingine ni ndogo. Hiyo ni ndogo.
Umerekodi?